So guys, I gave you guys like a week to do this video, so I'm going to do it. Today we're going to be talking about spoilers for Saw X. Not just spoilers, but like my opinion on the movie, what the future could behold. So without further ado, let's get right into this movie. So right away, this is probably my favorite in the franchise. The plot of the movie is John Kramer finds a cure for his cancer, and everything ends up being a complete scam. So he puts people in these traps. What this movie accomplishes is that these are pretty hateable characters, except for Gabrielle, and I liked her actually. I didn't think she deserved to die. Basically, this movie does a really good job of for you also rooting for them because they're smart. There's like this one scene where they're using somebody's organs, which is the girl. Now her trap is pretty fucking brutal. Actually, has to cut off her own leg. Valentina, that is her name, and she ends up getting her head cut off. And I was surprised about how much gore was actually in this movie and how much we got through, because this movie was pretty damn gory. A lot gorier. Probably one of the most goriest films out of the 2010s to now. Definitely. I was really surprised how they could do that though, where they put you hate the character, but you're also rooting for them. So originally in these traps, Gabriella was supposed to be the second trap. Valentina was the first, so she ended up getting killed off. And Gabriel ended up being third because Mateo was next. Now Mateo's trap, what he has to do is he has to pick out a piece of his brain. Yeah, so overall, it was a very, very gruesome trap. I actually thought he was slightly gonna make it because he made it like in the last second, but he failed it. So basically what he has to do is drill his head open, and yeah, it's absolutely fucking brutal. And the coolest thing I like about it is when the thing closes up and melts his face. It looks like an Indian sculpture. Now I don't know if that's a reference because this movie takes place in Mexico. But yeah, also I forgot there's the spike bomb trap. So this guy is like, I don't know, like duct taped bombs on him that are under his skin, and he has to cut them off. And yeah, it's really brutal. So he ends up actually surviving, which I actually really liked. So he told mostly John Kramer about all the information and stuff like that. So I also really like the setting of this movie, that it takes place in one room. Hey guys, so I actually forgot that there was another trap that I forget to mention in here, which is probably the most iconic in this video. The eye trap. So it basically sucks his eyes out from this vacuum. And at first I didn't know what it was because I didn't see like the first 2 minutes of this movie. And it just happened out of nowhere, and it just kind of I don't know, I thought it was like a flashback. But it was actually a dream sequence. And a lot of people were upset about it, which I can understand. But I actually really thought that was really unique. It just shows you like how Jigsaw's mind works. And for me, it works. It really did. So, anyway, guys, Mateo ends up losing, and then next ends up being Gabriella. While she's on her trap, though, there's this guy who comes in. Now, they don't reveal that it's the main character's wife. I forget the other girl's name, but she's the blonde one. I could not stand her character, and she was the only character that I absolutely hated and wanted to see get offed. So basically he gets tied up and stuff like that. So yeah, and then they let him out. Eventually he pulls up a gun, and Gabriella actually survives her trap, which I thought was really cool, and I thought she was gonna make it. I literally did. And then the twist came where it ended up being the guy who ended up sneaking in was only there to save his wife. That was the big twist reveal. And then basically she gets out, and Gabriella gets out of her trap. She's on the ground, like literally burning and dying. And John Kramer is like, she needs medical assistance, and the blonde girl steps on her neck and snaps her neck. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, she won the trap, and she just gets off like that. Apparently, she's deceased because I looked up her wiki page. It doesn't look like it would be fatal of the neck snap. Maybe that's just me, but it doesn't look like it at all. So that sucks. So eventually, the really cool scene comes in where Jigsaw ends up going in one of his own traps with a kid, and it's just intense as fuck. And you're thinking they're actually gonna get away with this, like the husband and the wife, the blonde lady. They go upstairs in the room, and they realize, like, wait. The guy goes like, "Hey, you were in a Jigsaw trap, and it was meant for two people. Who was the other person?" And that's when everything just twists. I didn't see this coming at all. I knew they weren't going to get away, but I didn't see this twist coming. So they ended up getting Jigsaw, and the kid ended up unlocking their trap, and it was a whole trap all along. So now they're stuck in this room, and that was their test to go out or to not go out. And I don't know. I don't really know, but the wife and the husband got tested the game. And yeah, I don't know, they basically got locked in this room, and there was a gas flowing through the room trying to kill him, and what they had to do was fight till death, to breathe. They had to put their head through this one thing, but the girl ends up overpowering the guy, so he ends up dying. She just gets stuck, and yeah. So that was really cool, though. I'm glad they kept the lore with the Saw theme at the end, which is awesome. Honestly, you have to add that in any Saw movie, whether it's a spin-off or anything. So overall, I think this was a very good movie. It's just, I wish Gabriel would have made it. That was devastating. I was like, really, you're trying to piss me off now. But yeah, overall, this was a very fun movie to watch. I don't think I've ever been I've never had this is probably the most intense theater experience I've ever had. I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't know what was going to happen next. And the thing that is crazy about it's a prequel. So usually the thing with prequels is you can't see you're going to know what's coming next. But with this one, it was executed off so well where you didn't know how it was going to happen. You knew what was going to happen, but you didn't know how it was going to happen. So, and I feel like that's what you got to think about when, you're doing a prequel movie, but they knocked it out of the park. Like, seriously. Okay, the main thing I wanted to talk about is the post-credit scene. So, this actor or whatever had a fake scar, and Jigsaw tested him and puts him in one of his games. Fortunately, we don't get to see the whole trap, but it's like knives at the skin. And Dr. Hoffman shows up. I am not a huge fan of the character. I smiled seeing him back on screen again. And if you guys don't know who Hoffman is, he's actually the person from like Saw 4 or 5, and he has a whole trilogy. Kind of his character is off, I believe, in the 7th film, but it's really cool. So, okay, last thing in this video is what could the Saw future behold? So, I believe there was a 6-year gap between Eric Matthews' death, because before his death. Sorry, there was 6 months beforehand. I think if with this post-credit scene, it had so much potential. The next couple sequels, because they could do a Hoffman and Jigsaw story and kind of answer questions that have not been answered in the next couple sequels, and still kind of stay consistent with John Kramer's story, while also focusing and answering questions that like weren't answered and stuff like that. I think that would be just an amazing idea, amazing execution, and I feel like that would just make the most sense, because you don't want to do another like prequel like this and like, oh, this one's gonna take place between Saw the final chapter. Really? Like that? Not how, but it's I don't know. I like this movie because it was more of a focused story. But you gotta keep going with. I definitely with this. It's world building here, and it's just. I think it could get executed off very well, and this could be a very well written trilogy as long as they keep the focus on John Kramer. He is the main antagonist of your franchise, and no offense, but they fucking made a mistake killing him off right away. So hopefully they keep on this train of more of a focused story and stuff like that. So otherwise, that's it, guys. That's my spoiler review. That's my personal thoughts of the movie. 9.5 out of 10. This is an amazing movie. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.